A10, baby. Hey, better late than never. Hey, but don't forget to play our intro this time.
All right, is it? Can I blame it on you?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Anything that ever goes wrong, anything that ever goes wrong with this podcast, man, just blame it on me, man. I'm used to it.
we're gonna blame it on Kobe collectors. Not a big deal. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Prism God TV, and I will not forget to play the intro this time. You know why?
Because it's coming on now, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes. How are you guys doing today? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls in the building. This is your boy Prism God. And
Kobe. Yeah,
Kobe
what's
Collector.
going on? What's going on this
Good.
week?
Well, I mean, we seen some really cool news today. You guys lost somebody good.
Good, man. Hey, the way I feel, man, you don't want to be here, let them go.
Let them go. Well, today the Houston Rockets traded James Harden for Karis LeVert and Jared Allen. How does the hobby feel about that? I'm happy about it.
I mean, actually, we also got 4 first-round draft picks and
Most
four
importantly,
more draft picks on top of that. And
most
then
importantly,
we shipped LeVert out already, so he's not even a Rocket anymore. So it's probably the shortest stint in Rockets history. We got Oladipo, baby. I'm happy about that.
go. I like that for your team. I think your team is on the up and up. I think you guys will be good. I think you guys, I'm not going to say you can contend, but you guys have your very bright future.
Yeah,
you have a lot of young talent over there. Hey, there you go. There you go. You might be able to contend, though. I mean, the West will be tough, but I think you guys have a chance.
Yeah.
So,
I like the way John Wall looks. I do.
Yeah, John Wall's not bad. He's not bad. I think he finally can play point guard now.
Yeah, he lost a step, but he's still quick. He still gets to the rim.
Yeah,
he reminds me a lot of Dwayne Wade, man. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. So, look, I know we're late, man. It's 8:12. It's 8:12 now. It was 8:10 when we finally got on. So we owe you guys 10 minutes extra for the show. So we'll make up for it. So everybody that's out there, shout out where you are, where you from. Make sure you be proactive on the stream. Feel free to ask us any questions. We got a very important person, a very important guest today, Shawn Henry. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's definitely going to introduce himself and tell us who he is and what influence he has maybe in the hobby.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. You know, we don't color inside the box. We like to go outside the box a little bit, make our little circles and triangles outside of that little lonely little square. And we bring you stuff that nobody else is gonna bring you, and we keep it 100. So
that's right.
I really enjoy just doing this every week.
So, one of the reasons why, I wanted to bring him on the show is because he's a fellow entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So, I like to think of myself as, I'm still an entrepreneur no matter what. And we're going to talk about that today. What it's like being an entrepreneur in the hobby. People always ask me, like, do you do this full time? And the answer is yes, I do this full time. I have nothing else to do but collect cards.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a little bit more than collecting. You're not a collector, man. You're a reseller.
So without further ado, we're going to bring my boy Shawn Henry on the show. Let's go.
What's up, fellas?
Hey,
how y'all doing?
What's going on, Shawn?
Yeah.
Hey, good evening.
Not much. Listen, man. You guys are entrepreneurs. You guys got a podcast. You guys are collectors, resellers. So it all ties in. It's all the same game, man. It's just hustling.
All right. So off the top, Shawn, I'm going to ask you a question before we get to the meat and the potatoes. Are you a collector or are you a reseller?
I am a collector. I'm a collector. Okay. I do a little bit of flipping here and there. When I got back into the hobby, right, I was guided to go buy a bunch of Kevin Durant PSA 10s, Giannis PSA 10s, LeBrons. And then obviously when the market went up, I flipped those, but now I'm working on my PC collection, which is, all high-end Curry, LeBron refractors, Durant refractor.
Nice.
I'm going for all the Hall of Famers, man.
That's the way to go.
That's it, man. I think right now that's the most solid investment that you can put your money in. Everybody's on Luke, which as you guys can see behind me. I mean, I love the guy, but eventually it's got to level out. Eventually it's got to level out. You know what I mean? I feel like they're too close to the Hall of Famers right now, and they haven't done anything.
Yeah. So all right, before we get too deep, I like to let people guests come on the show and show some of their collection. If you want to show one of your very nice cards, I'm sure since he's a Luka fan, I'm pretty sure he's going to show us something really entertaining on the show. Check this out, Mark.
Let's see what we got.
See what this guy gonna show us before we get into this meat and potatoes.
All right, I got a white sparkle Luka.
Woo! You see that?
PSA 10.
PSA 10.
Look how pretty that thing is. And then this is probably one of my favorite cards, though. This is Mahomes.
My homie. So who's gonna win the Super Bowl? Either Pat Mahomes or Tom Brady. I see you got Tom Brady. You got the Buccaneers on your hat.
You see the hat. That's who's winning. I'm going for Tom. And listen, for my card collection, I probably want Mahomes to win.
There you go.
But for my city and my heart, I want Brady to get another one, man. I think that he deserves it. After being from Tampa and watching this dude come to a team that was 7-9 last year, and kind of turn the culture around here and have the city just cranking and believing in the Bucs again. Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see. I mean, he's 43 years old. You guys, he slings that thing still. He still looks like he's 25 years old. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of doctors that dude has, man, but he wasn't throwing a ball like that in New England last year.
No, but you know what? If you guys remember, Belichick didn't want that guy around. I don't know. He had a personal trainer, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know if y'all remember. Yeah. And it was this big thing in the media, and the guy wasn't allowed inside the building. And maybe that has something. Maybe the Bucs are a little lenient in letting this guy come around and kind of do his thing,
Well, I seen the house he's in. I seen the house he's in when I went to Tampa, man, sitting over there. And was it Alex Rodriguez's house?
Yeah.
That house is amazing. Oh, it's Jeter. That's right. It's Jeter's house.
Yeah. So it's Jeter's house, but he just bought a house here in Clearwater. It was $7.8 million. It was in the newspaper. It's amazing. It's probably one of the nicest pieces of property, man. Whenever you boys come down, because I know you guys need a vacation soon, we'll come down. We'll take a ride over there and check it out.
I'm definitely interested.
For sure.
Love it. All right, so let's go back. Let's go backward a little bit and talk about you. So, when did you first get into the hobby? I know you got back into it. Yep. By the way, and I'm gonna address how you got back into it after we're done hearing about you.
Sorry, I missed that last part. It kind of got choppy for a second.
No, I was going to say, so you could talk about how you first got introduced to the hobby the first time around, and then I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to one of your statements that you made afterwards, and we're going to talk about that after you're done telling us how you got in.
All right, so when I was a kid, just like all of us, when I'm 37 years old. When I was a kid, we played outside. We played with sports cards. We wrestled in the street. We played street hockey. So I'm from Toronto originally, and all we did is literally play hockey and baseball every single day after school for hours and hours and hours. Raised by a single mother, and she used to buy me a pack of cards every Friday. I'd get my pack, and I got this Wayne Gretzky hologram card. Nice. Right? Probably now it'd probably be worth something ridiculous, but I was obsessed with it, right? And it drew me in more, and I'd go and I'd buy, and I'd start going to card shows. And when we moved to Florida, the hobby was really big down here. It wasn't as big in Canada. At the local mall near me, they would have sports card shows every Saturday. So I'd go and I'd buy my packs, and I'm a sports fanatic, right? I mean, I played hockey growing up. I had a full ride to IMG. I played baseball, high school baseball. I mean, I've been an athlete my whole life. So being able to collect other athletes was kind of my thing growing up. Then I became an adult, kind of, right? You're going through your 14s to 18s. You start getting into girls. You start getting into, going out and doing other stuff, going to parties, doing all shit. And excuse me. And
man.
Okay, cool. All right.
It's okay.
Because I may curse a little bit.
It's okay. I've cursed one time on the show.
Okay. I apologize. But you know what I mean, man? So I kind of fell out of touch with the hobby. Got into business, right? I've grown my company over the last 9 years. We brought in over 110 million in revenue. I have my nonprofit, Kids Lives Matter. Thank you. So it's like we talked about earlier, though, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, just urgency, and even carrying this over into the sports market like I'm doing now. But my nonprofit, my company, it was stressful. It is. I have the most stressful job in the world, I feel like, because I serve other people, right? And I don't take time to serve myself. So what I started doing is my buddy's like, man, you should buy this box. It was retail 2018-19 Prism.
Okay.
And he's like, man, you got me a good deal. It was like $500 at the time. Got me the box. He's like, just crack this open. You're looking for Luka. You're looking for Trae Young. I hadn't been really following too much into the sports market at all at this point. Didn't even know what some of these cards were worth. Well, my fourth pack in, I hit a Luka Silver.
Nice.
And the kid looks at me and he's like, bro, that's like, back then it was like $4,000, $5,000 card.
Right.
He's like, that thing's worth $5,000. I was like, what? $5,000 for this card. He's like, yeah. He's like, you didn't know? I'm like, no. So he's actually married to my fiance's cousin.
Nice.
And it was at his wedding. So we started talking. His name's Boris. He runs the Hobby Box YouTube.
Yeah. I've heard of that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we started chopping it up, and he's telling me, showing me, and all these, how the market's moving, and how in the last 30 years it's outperformed the stock market essentially with its percentages. So I'm like, there's no way. So I started obviously doing my research. He told me what to buy that night. He's like, you want to buy LeBron, Durant's, and then Giannis's right now because basketball season was down. Yeah. So I do everything 100. Like, I'm not couple. I went and bought like 7 LeBrons. I bought like 10 KDs. I mean, I just ran through it.
Wow.
So he was right. He was right. The market started going up. I started flipping them, and then I started buying, high-end singles, and that's kind of where I'm at now. But I did learn my lesson about cracking wax.
Okay.
Oh my God.
You can get buried, man.
Oh my God.
I love opening it too, man.
I know. Where's that at? Like this right here. I got 4 of these.
Yeah.
Coming.
Woo.
Oh wow.
And what I'm going to do though is I'm going to go to PSA. I'm going to fly to PSA, bring these. I'm going to go with my buddy Brad when he goes to do one of his drops, and we're going to have a grader sit with us while we open them and just grade them up so they can't say, oh, if say you send them in, they don't give you any 10s, but we know it's a 10 because they don't want to make the population even higher than they are.
Yeah.
They might do that. So if you sit there with them, I feel I can say, hey, you're there with a grader, you're opening them, because they will do that with high-end boxes like this.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, they did it. Yeah. They did it 2 days ago with Vegas Dave.
Yeah,
Vegas Dave. Yep, Vegas Dave did that. Yeah, that's correct. Vegas, and they didn't even tell them to put a penny sleeve on the Jordans.
I couldn't even believe that. I couldn't believe that.
That's crazy.
I couldn't believe that.
He's not getting any 9s.
No,
he's not getting any 9s. 7s and 8s.
But
that's it.
The most risky boxes. Me and Brad were actually. Say that again.
I said 7 and 8s. 7 and 8s. That's all we're gonna give.
7 and 8s. Yeah. You know how much money they probably lost on that box? That's why those are so risky. Because if you don't, right now, you probably can't get one under $200,000. So that means if you don't hit at least a 10.
Much.
Oh, there's one on piece. We've been trying to get one. Me and Brad have been actively searching for one. We're refusing to pay more than $125,000. So right now, that's out of the question because everybody's bidding them up and driving them up. Now, what's going to happen is these guys are going to get these boxes, and they're not going to do what we would do, go to PSA and open them right in front of a grader, and these guys are going to lose their ass. So, it's just, if you guys ever come across anybody that wants some quick money and you have one, send them my way.
There you go. See, you guys heard it first. See, look, he's looking for it. So I kind of want to, and I'm going to let you talk to real quick, Kobe Collector, but I wanted to, and I think you're going to like what I'm about to say. So for the people that are listening and for the people who are viewing right now, you noticed how he got back into the industry. He knew his lane.
Yeah.
His lane was he bought multiples of Kevin Durant, Giannis, and LeBron James. Most people cannot do that, right?
No.
So for the people that are listening and are watching, make sure you know your lane. Everybody's not able to go buy Giannis, LeBron, and Kevin Durant as your first getting back into the industry purchase. So for the people that are out there, I say that to say that, you're very lucky and very blessed to be able to do those type of things. So one day I'll get there.
You will for sure, man. Just keep hustling.
No, we always talk about, people with unlimited resources and not knowing necessarily how to jump into the freeway of which is cards, right? They come in, they spend a lot of money on cards that they lose their butts on, and Some people come in, they have a little bit of advice, they do their research. And any sound investment, you have to do research. If you're not, then you're going to lose. 9 out of 10. If you come in informed, you do research, you surround yourself with people who know what they're talking about, which is a good business decision no matter what industry that you're in. You're going to be successful more often than not.
True.
And one thing I've learned about this industry is everybody wants to help each other succeed, right?
Yeah.
So my other industries, it's cutthroat, like it's competition. And one of my best friends, childhood best friends, owns the other second largest solar company in the state of Florida. So we compete against each other,
Yeah.
right? But it's healthy. It's not healthy competition. Excuse me. It is cutthroat. It is, his reps going against my reps. We always get on calls and like mediate stuff. It's destroyed our friendship at the end of the day, right? This hobby, everybody's been extremely helpful. I've been guided, and if I have questions, I can reach out to certain people and they'll guide me on what to buy and not to buy. I almost just made a really bad purchase. I almost made a horrible purchase today. I almost bought a flawless Luca out of 15, 18, 19 because I heard he's not going to be autoing any more cards. So I'm actively looking, and I want to build up that collection for a future investment. And the kid wanted first he wanted 100 grand, which we all know eBay, that's a joke. So got him off of eBay, and we started talking, and I ended up getting him down like $50,000. Now, when I first got into the game, right, when I was really all right, what am I going to buy? Because I went through that phase real quick. I did go through a phase where I was just buying some stupid shit. Like I just told you earlier that I bought a James, which I think this will be a good investment, but where my head was at was I just went and bought a Jameis Winston RPA National Treasures Pristine 10 for $1,800. Now,
nice.
That's one that's going to pay off. But I've went and bought a Derek Carr gold out of 10, and then you know what I mean, and I end up losing my ass on that. So
yeah,
why do you think that Jameis Winston is going to pay off, man? You don't even have a home,
dude. Listen.
He doesn't have a home.
He does not. But I hate Jameis Winston. All right, I'm a Gator. I don't like the Knowles. So if you guys are watching, your Knowles fans, I feel sorry. I'm a Tampa guy. Okay, I feel sorry for you Knowles fans because it's going to be a long 5 years. But anyways, getting back to Jameis, I mean, the guy threw for 5,000 yards. He threw for 30 plus touchdowns. Now I know his interceptions. He
threw like
the ball
50 interceptions.
Try watching the game and just watching him literally throw a ball to the other team with nobody else around at the end of the game. Like it was demoralizing. Thank God I like hockey and the Lightning win, but I think that's a solid investment. I'm putting $1,800 into that card. All right, even if he signs on a team and he starts, that's a cheap gamble. That card goes up to $5 or $6 grand.
Cheap gamble.
Yeah, but on the other
he's
end,
in New Orleans right now, right?
Yep,
he's in New Orleans. Yeah,
I think Breeze is probably on his way out within the next 2 years. I mean, it could be sooner than later. We'll see how this season ends.
Well, there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks too. You guys got to think could be the Saints. There's the Redskins, the Jets. Who else is there? I mean, the 49ers could use an upgrade.
Bears.
They're not.
He sucked.
The Bears. Hey, but that's another. There's other people that can be invested in besides Jameis where there's money at. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, man. But getting
back. So what cards did you lose your butt on, man? I want to know about that. I mean, since you're in the lane right now, you said you came in. I mean, what was your worst buy in regards to win-loss?
Gosh, my worst one. I've just bought literally. I've probably bought 100 cards in the last 3 months. So probably my biggest lick that I've taken was the Luca. I bought a Luca BGS 9.5 red choice, I think, and I tried to cross it to PSA, and I didn't get it. Okay. So I think I ended up losing about $5 grand on that card. But as far as horrible buys where I'm in really deep on something like that, nothing really, because I haven't bought anything super high end without doing my research. Like if I'm spending over, I'd say $3 grand, I'm gonna do my research.
Gotcha. Well, that Luca was over $3 grand, I bet.
Oh, that Luca. So I got that Luca with the Mahomes white sparkle too.
Oh wow!
I got these in a combo deal not too long ago, where literally the deal was so good, I jumped in my car because I brought a shitload of cash with me, and I was like, I'm driving. So when the story of the White Sparkle Luca, Dallas show, right? My first big show. That's where I kind of learned from my buddy Brad. He was teaching me a few things, how to buy and sell, when to buy and sell.
Shout out to Brad. We don't know who you are, but shout out to Brad.
Shout out to Brad. He's a knowledgeable person. It seems like
anybody that helps you out is shout out to Brad.
Brad's a really good dude. He owns Dallas Card Investors. He'll be at the Dallas show, man. So they'll be there. I'll introduce you guys as a real cool dude. But
cool.
We laid eyes on that card, and I made an offer, I think, to Richard or somebody there for like $80,000. I got turned down. So ever since, I'm one of those people, though, I operate with urgency. And once I get my eyes set on something, like whether it's my goals, whether it's buying cards, I'm getting it. Like I'm on the hunt. Some way, somehow, I'm getting it. So I find the White Sparkle Mahomes on eBay. I messaged the guy. He wanted like 40 for it. I pull him off and start negotiating with him back and forth, and he ended up saying he had a White Sparkle Luca. So I was like, fuck, well, all right, here we go. Everybody else is like, oh, well, I'm not selling it. So he seemed like he was interested in selling it. So I offered him $80,000 for both. All right. Yeah. He said, let me think about it. I said cash. So I said I will literally drive to I have an office in South Carolina. So I was like, I will get in my car, I will drive to South Carolina, I will bring you a brick of cash tonight. He said, let me think about it. So, right. So in my head, I'm like, he's
got to think about it. Right.
He's going to say no to that. So in my head, I'm like, I'm finally going to get the card.
Yeah.
The dude calls me and says, sorry, man, can't do it. I look at these every night. These are my babies. And I was like,
wow,
they're my babies night. Too.
Right.
These are the cards that in my PC that I'll probably never get rid of.
Absolutely.
So we hang up, and he made a comment when we were talking. He said, I'm not going to have anything to look at. And that stuck with me. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, maybe he's open to a trade.
Right.
Yeah. Shot the guy a text message.
Yeah.
He was open for a trade.
Mm-hmm.
So I traded him. I sent him a bunch of cards. He said he liked X, Y, and Z. And I said, I'll give you $20,000 on top of these cards cash. He said, he responded 25, and I said, deal. So I literally woke up the next morning, rented a car, drove up there, made the deal happen at the hotel, and then I flew back.
Nice, man.
Hey, I know we're talking about sport cards, but my wife would kill me if I don't at least inquire. Do you do any business in Texas?
Yeah. I have 2 offices in Texas currently.
There you go.
In Dallas, that's where I just was too. So Brad, too, good buddy of mine in the card industry, he owns a very good insulation company. They do like green attic barriers, they do spray foam, blowing insulation, and we're bringing them on as a solar partner. Essentially, they're going to go sell the jobs to their clients. We're going to do the installs for them and fulfill the job. So Texas is actually really big. Yeah, man. So there's a lot. I like finding out in the card industry too what other people do. Like I'm really into that. It's fun.
Yeah, she's been really wanting to go green on our house. We just bought our first house this last year, and she's real gung ho about going green. So the solar panels will be in our future pretty soon.
All right, DM me, and I'll get you taken care of 100%.
I know we talked about my me going green for my container homes that I plan on putting together this year. That's one of my projects for 2020, 2021. So I'll definitely be working on that.
I have a buddy that does that here, who we've done some solar for on the mini container homes. Mm-hmm. We call them, what does he call them here? Tampa Bay Tiny Homes is the name of it. Look it up. They're really cool, man. They're actually
I'll definitely take a look at that.
Yeah.
All right. So Christopher Janko says he needs a shout out. So real quickly,
we already did.
Shout out. Christopher Janko, shout out. There you go. Done.
Shout out, Chris.
I try to answer some of these questions here. So, and we're going to finish your story in a minute. But JS says, what are you looking for at the Dallas show? Curious. I'll let you guys rotate. You go ahead and start off guest first.
So what I'm looking for, whether it's the Dallas show right now, looking for a PSA Kobe Bryant rookie refractor, a Curry rookie refractor, probably LeBron James rookie refractor. I'm actually working something right now with somebody else, but those are the 3 cards I really want to add to my PC. And that's really it. Other than that, I mean, there's
green eggs and ham, peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I mean, we're not asking for much.
So at the end of the day, though, these are the most solid investments. You guys got to think. I mean,
buy what you like, man.
These
Yeah.
are
You find your lane and you buy what you like.
What
Hall of
do you?
Famers.
I will say, what are you buying, Kobe Collector?
Oh man, I'm a homer, man. But I feel really good about Jordan Alvarez, man, and I'm really stacking the deck that I have with this guy.
Oh,
And I think he's gonna make me some money, man. I'm an Astros guy, man. What do I gotta say?
It's all right, man.
yeah.
It's all right. I'm looking
Let
for
me
Kevin
split
Durant
it.
and John Morant. I'm sorry, Kevin Durant and John Morant and LeBron
I got
James.
some Durant
And
here.
yeah, that's basically it. Kevin Durant, John Morant, and LeBron James. 3 people I'm
So
looking
speaking of Ja, I just had my flawless gold out of 10, PSA 10. Yeah, and I got another one too. I picked up.
Congrats.
Let me know
Hey,
if we can.
hey, you don't have to go. You don't have to go to the Dallas show to pick up a nice John Morant, man.
No, I have one I have a 10 that looks just like that, but I like your 10. I like that flawless a lot.
So this is the second one I got.
Man.
And then
Yeah.
Panini just sent me this.
Nice.
You got
So
lucky,
Panini,
man. They told me no.
and I did, yeah, dude. I was like I said, man, with urgency. I was writing them email after email after
Yeah.
email, and dude, they finally to the point they didn't want to deal with me anymore. You know, I got all the way up to the vice president, Joe White. So
Joe White, man, you got some connections then.
no, I
Mm-hmm.
just
Red,
wrote the CEO on LinkedIn. And
I talked to him on there. That's what I talked to. I wouldn't say.
yeah, but red choice, John Morant, BGS 10.
Oh, that's sick.
Very much so. All right.
I
So
wish he didn't get injured because if he wasn't injured, I would have been
I
able to
know.
flip that card. But I'm gonna hold it a little bit.
it's a good
So let
card
me
to
ask you.
hold.
So let me ask you, Kobe Collector. Are you a reseller or are you a collector?
Um, I'm in the hobby right now, and I have a lot of different revenue streams,
Okay.
right?
Uh-huh.
And so one of my revenue streams that I'm kicking off in 2021 that's really kicked off is a grading subservice that I do.
Okay.
And so it's taking me away from the day-to-day buying, flipping, selling.
Yeah.
So a little backstory about me is I was a Kobe Bryant super collector back in my day,
He
and
was famous.
when I sold that collection, obviously way too soon, um, I lost that real collector kind of bug in me. So when I came back into the hobby, I've bought and sold my collection, whether it was baseball, basketball, football, about 3 times. And in 2020, I started doing the grading, machine, and with Prism, with Raphael's advice, started that machine. And every month I have subs come back, and I've been able to build my liquidity from that, and then I'm gonna take that and start the machine over again, and hopefully start with
Smart.
higher priced items.
Nice.
Smart.
Congratulations. Very smart.
Yes, sir.
All right. So like the whole topic of this show is really mostly supposed to be about being an entrepreneur. So I want to ask you, Shawn, is like, all right, so because we talked about it before we went online. So I want to know your take on what do you apply from your current, your current job
Yeah.
day to day into the hobby. Now you talked about urgency. You kind of referenced it a couple times in the conversation. Talk to us about what your day to day is like as a collector, and how that works for you.
Well, first, let me explain that my day to day. Let me explain the other day to day, and then why my day to day as a collector is why I'm backing on what I love. What I do is I own a company. We do $70 million a year in solar. I own a nonprofit that is taking off faster than I ever thought it could, and a lot of my time and stress goes towards my other businesses, and it was becoming really stressful. So the hobby has allowed me to kind of decompress. Opening the wax, buying and selling and trading has kind of sparked the old hustler in me. Right, like when I started my business, I was a hustler. That's what I did. Like now I'm a CEO. Now I'm not as much of in the field hustling, making shit happen.
Yeah.
Like I don't get excited as much. I get excited when I make big trades.
Hey,
I get a big card. Like
yes,
I get
me too.
fucking pumped. When I made that.
Especially when you make some money on it, you like, man, I paid 20, I spent 50. Woo!
Yeah. I mean, you get pumped up, man. So I've kind of taken my entrepreneurship approach, which is I've always had a high level of urgency. I do not stop. I work 18-hour days. Like I was telling Raphael, I was like, I literally, I could be on a boat right now. I could be doing other shit. I could be focusing on growing other businesses. I don't. I'm in my company 18 hours a day. I'm accessible to almost every one of my employees. I have 130 employees. I'm in my office every single day. I travel to all my offices. I'm very still heavily involved, right? How does that translate? It translates because I operate on such a high level within my businesses. I've taken it over to the card world. And when I want something and I want to get a deal done, oh, it's getting done. Like I am relentless. Like I piss people off on like I'm relentless. Like if I want a card, I'm getting that card and I put time frames on it. I have a budget. Like right now, like I know people are probably getting pissed off when I lowball people. But hey, listen, I'm lowballing people right now for I want a refractor for $80,000. Yeah, I have people be like, "That's crazy."
Is it lowballing? Is it really?
Like,
is it really lowballing?
What if somebody's been out of work for, let's say, 6 to 8 weeks with some of these shutdowns, and and I'm coming there and I could save them. At the end of the day, you have a card I want. I'm a good buyer. I have $80,000 that I'm willing to give you, so you can pay your bills for the next 2 or 3 years. You know what I mean? So.
And he probably paid $5,000 for it last year.
100%. So that's what I mean. So like when I have people come out and he'd be like, "That's too low." They're selling for this. Like I know they are. I'm not stupid. I look them up. Like I'm sorry. Like I look them up. But if I'm paying that much money for a card and there's 1,000 of them out there, let's be honest. The PSA 10 refractors, I think there's 100. I don't even know the pop report.
It's a lot. It's 1,700 of them, I believe.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So. $80,000 for a card that has there's 1,700 of them, crazy to me doesn't seem like a bad deal. So that's kind of what I've taken over, and then being I'd say a little bit more organized too. So we have spreadsheets. Go ahead.
I was going to say cards are worth what they're worth, right? At the end of the day, a card is worth what someone is willing to pay. And I mean, I talk about my pet peeve in the market all the time, where you have a card and continuously goes for comps and comps and comps, and then a guy needs money, right?
Yeah.
And sells it for 20% under what the last comp was, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, if you're buying the card, you're going to be happy through the moon about it. But if you have that card in your collection, you'll be like, "Man, the dude just digged me. Like, what the hell? Like, do you need money that bad?" And it goes to what you're saying. But on the reverse side of that, it's like, do you need money that bad where you're going to kill the comp just to make a quick buck? I mean, for me, there's two sides to that coin, and I can live on both sides of it. But like I said, the scenario where that's the same reason why people out there where they see a card that they have and they're creating floors on them, right? Like if I can buy that card that's $100,000, I'll bid it up to $50,000 because to me, I don't mind being into another card for $50,000. Now, is that manipulating the market or is that just trying to get a good deal? I mean, depending on what perspective that you're coming from will kind of tell that story for you. But again, it's good if you're the buyer, but if you have that card in hand, obviously you're going to feel like, man, what is this dude doing? Especially if there's a popular, a legit sale that's public.
So speaking about that, me and the Prism God were just talking about it prior, and that's why I hate eBay. Like literally, like I've built my eBay store. I'd say in the last 60 days, we've probably done 120 grand on eBay, and it's all from me just starting at 99-cent bids, and I just let them ride. And that's another thing I do. So even though I run all these companies, I sit here at night and I package packages. I'm not too good to do those little things, right? So it's like, and I really, really enjoy doing this. But to get to the point, man, people can go on eBay and they can manipulate pricing as high and as much as they want. I was just showing them. It happened to me on actually it's right here. This is John Moran. This just happened to me. So the guy bid it up to like $5,800. Not answering me. Can't get a hold of him. No,
he probably had one himself, so he can use you as a comp, so he can sell his.
Exactly.
It's crazy. It happens.
Is that a 9 blue ice?
That's a 9 blue ice. Yeah.
Okay. Nice card.
Yeah. I love PSA. Should have given me a 10. Yeah, they're beautiful. Damn PSA.
It was hard to get PSA 10s this year in 2020 product and out of Prism. It was hard.
So I know I was a little late, man, but I gotta actually take scans and pictures of all this stuff that just came in the mail today. All these slabs. I picked up a big lot.
Nice.
So I look forward to doing that after our podcast.
Yay, good times. All right, so you talked to us about being an entrepreneur, Mark. I mean, how do you? I know you kind of are getting into the entrepreneur field for yourself. Like, I mean, what are you thinking? Like, how do you apply?
Well, I mean, the thing about the hobby, there's not one way to be in the hobby,
Hmm.
and that's the reason why I enjoy being in it so much is that if you take that hustler entrepreneurial mentality and you have a real go getter mentality, you can make money doing anything, right? You can make commissions off of sales. You can be the
Yep.
middleman between two people selling high end cards. You can grade cards. You can deliver cards, whatever it is that you want to do, you can apply it into this hobby and make money, right? So you can't say, "Oh man, I'm broke." No, you're not broke. I mean, if
Yeah.
you have $200,000 in cards, I mean, you can sit on it until you're black and blue in the face, or you can move it, use that money to make more money. So if you know how to make money, you're always gonna know how to make money, man. I mean, honestly, I mean,
That's
So,
there's
so
there's some other industries that are not as probably legal that you
mhm.
can people can take that same logic, them number flippings and multiplications and profit margins and bring it into the hobby and make a lot of money and it's legal, right? So I'm just shouting out if you're doing something illegal, you can take that same mentality and that same hustler and bring them into this hobby and make a lot of money, man.
That's
man.
true.
I talked to so many people about, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this show is people, I've had this question a million times since I've been back in the hobby is, do you do this full time or part time or whatever? And how did you decide to do this full time? And honestly, it was like 3 years ago. I felt like the minute I started making money in the hobby, I was like, man, I can do this. This is easy. First of all, I'm passionate about the hobby, so this makes it even more easy.
Yeah.
I love the hobby for what it is. I enjoy seeing nice cards. I love watching
Hmm.
basketball, love watching sports, and I love watching the market. I love what like I literally wake up every day. Like I talked to you about it, Shawn, is I
Yeah,
wake
we
up
do the same
every day.
thing.
I've been up at 3. I woke up at 3 this morning. No lie. If you check my posts on Instagram, I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning. First thing I did is check eBay. After that, I check Facebook. After that, I check Instagram. I try to reply all messages through the course of the day, and I try to be proactive. And sometimes I get really busy during the day, but I try to do the best that I can. But sometimes I'm just so focused on doing certain things at any given moment. And with this business, like you just have to really treat it like a business. Like you work for
Exactly.
yourself. You have to manage and make time for yourself. And I don't know. I tell my wife basically that I'm kind of like a doctor. I'm on call. So it's like, unfortunately, I mean, I'm just being honest. Like I'm on call. Like the reality is I'm always like looking for something because it's you can literally go online and miss it by 5 minutes, whatever deal you were looking
Yep.
for.
Yeah.
Five
That's
Or
minutes,
true.
a
2 minutes,
or a
30
hot deal
Hey,
posted on Facebook and you miss it just because you didn't refresh it quick enough and it just sold 20 seconds before you and you could have bought that card or that lot and made $2,000 on it.
Mm. All right, so Thomas
so
Willer actually has a question for us, and I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna answer this question. Actually, you can go ahead, Shawn, real quick. What you were about to say, and we'll
well,
answer
what I do
Thomas.
want to say, well, one, uh, I do want to say you shouldn't apologize for not getting back to people, man. If you're running a business, you're busy. I used to struggle with this so bad. I have over 60,000 followers on Instagram. I get messages all the time.
Mm.
Some of them I don't get back to. Some of them I open and I forget to respond to. Text messages are the same thing. I've even done it to my family members where I'll read a message and I get busy, and then 2 days, 3 days go by, and then they're like,
Right,
my
throw
own
me off.
mother. I'll be
Yeah,
like, you didn't call me. You know what I mean?
That's,
But
my mom's probably watching. She's probably
yeah, like he does it. But at the end of the day, man, like you just gotta just know that if you're truly hustling, you're not really ignoring those people. Don't beat
yeah,
yourself up over it, man. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. They'll deal with it as long as you're
yeah.
hustling. And then speaking about people in the industry, and when I first came in, like I felt like a lot of people were their collection was here and their cash was down here,
Mm-hmm.
meaning they had no cash on hand ever, but they'd hang on. There's still certain people I run into where
I'm
you're just
guilty.
like, damn, like,
No offense,
yeah,
I'm
but
guilty. I'm guilty. It's the
like
collector in me, man. It's hard.
you got to move it. You can't get so
Yeah,
best thing. I'm bringing up Brad again because the guy's educated me so much in the industry. Is you can't fall in love with a card. You
Nope.
just can't. I'm
There's a
guilty
price
of
for
it. Like
everything.
and I know Thomas is speaking about how much of your bankroll do you hold in cards from your total sports card bankroll. Honestly, man, my answer is I really didn't have one coming in, so I'm starting to taper back now right, and figuring out my numbers. Like, I'm not personally going to put any more money in. I've probably put in about 400 grand of my own money into this industry. I probably got about 150 grand in wax, and then I have 300 slab cards. And as you guys can see, a lot of them are really, really high end stuff.
Yep.
But a rule of thumb, I'd probably do like a 30-70, where I'd have 70% buried in my collection, 30% cash on hand for buying, because you're not always going to need cash in this space because you have assets you can trade.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
and that's a part of it, though, that you'll see once you get into the high-end market, that it's easier to move a card and trade and pick up value or more value than it is to buy cards, because sometimes it gets to a point where if you have a card that's really rare, they're not going to let it go unless they have something that they want more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
so if they get something that they want more, it doesn't matter if you offer them 3 times more than what the card is actually worth. They're not going to give it to you. So some people have them grails that they want, and they'll move it for the right thing. So I've also noticed that as I'm starting to tick up into the more higher end market now. And of course, back when I was collecting really strong, high end isn't what it is today, man. There was never $100,000 basketball card ever. PSA 10 Jordans used to sell for 10 grand, and people still would balk at that, right? Right. God. When the first PSA 10 came to market, it was 10 grand, and they flipped that PSA 10 into a BGS 10, and the BGS 10 sold for 100 grand because it was the only one around. But at that time, that's what high end used to be. So today, it's on steroids today, high end and low end. Like you have to kind of go ahead.
I'm gonna say, you guys know too. I mean, this isn't gonna stop.
No,
everybody's waiting. I keep hearing other people being like, "Hey, it's the market's gonna level up." It's not, because there's more people like me every single day. Guys are jumping in this. Hedge funds now are jumping in this. The more money that's being pumped into the hobby economy, it's just going to keep growing, guys. I mean, at the end of the day, like Gary Vee posted, I think, a video today or something that said, "Buckle your seats because we're only in the second inning of this."
I agree. We've had this conversation last 2 weeks ago with Nate.
And the thing that I like, though, is that there's not one thing, right? You can do Pokemon, you can do Dragon Ball Z, you can do football, you can do hockey, you can do baseball, basketball. And then there's low end, there's mid tier, there's high end, in every one of those things. So there's so many avenues for you to come in and buy what you like, right? At the end of the day, some things you're going to spend a little bit more money on because you like it. There's some things that you want really low because you have the intentions on flipping it. So no matter where you come in, there's something for everybody. So you just got to figure out what you like.
All right, so I brought back this question Thomas Willer said, because I just really want to. Go ahead. Are you talking about me?
No, so Kobe collector.
Thomas?
You said something earlier. Thomas, sorry. You said something earlier about there's so many avenues in this industry to make money, and it is. I mean, you can do grading, you can flip cards, you can buy wax and flip wax, you can do breaks, you can open your own auction site, you can run an eBay store. There's so many different ways to make money in this space, and this is why it's intriguing to me. And what I've did with my solar business is I paralleled my company. We don't just do solar. We finished #1 in the nation in solar this year, and now we added a roofing division, a window division, an alarm division, right? So I'm going to take all my solar customers and I'm going to monetize off them with these other products that we're doing. And you do the same thing in the sports market. Of course. So when I send out my eBay orders, right? When I send these out, there's a little card inside that puts my website that's not even built yet on it and says, hey, stay tuned. I'm building out this website. I'm going to be having all my cards focused on there. I'll be doing auctions over there. Yeah. So, very nice. How am I, how's that going to benefit me? Well, I'm cutting eBay out because I'm sick of the fees. Exactly. I'm probably going to, if I do my own auction site, which I have nice cards where I could probably get it launched pretty quickly, I would make it members only. Like we were speaking earlier, now I would probably actually have them a bank account set up through my auction site where they'd have to have the funds in the account in order to bid on my items or anybody else's items, because that keeps people from doing shell bids, bidding things up, and then not paying for the product.
That makes so much sense. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit to Thomas Willer's point. He asked about how much money and how much you hold in cards versus sport. I'm being honest with you. I try to have a game plan, but the reality is it's so hard to have a game plan in the hobby because you don't know what card's going to pop up on any given day. At any given moment. Yeah, that refractor Topps Chrome LeBron that Shawn's looking for. If it pops up for $90,000 or $85,000 and he wasn't expecting to spend $85,000, guess what? He's going to spend that $85,000 if he's probably thinking I want one for $80,000 because it's so close to where he wants to be at. He might just do it. So I don't try. I know Thomas, you may. I don't know if you. I don't. Well, I think you mentioned something about keeping your cash flow around $6,000. I think that will change. I think the way that the hobby is now, I think the average good card is going to be $10,000. Don't be surprised. It's going to be $10,000. So you keeping a cash flow of $6,000 might be cutting yourself a little short. So if I were you, I would try to hold on to the cards that you feel like are irreplaceable, that you know for a fact that no matter what, this card is going to hold its value. It has upside, and it makes a lot of sense to hold on to. That way you can liquidate, keep more money liquid for those bigger deals that might pop up. I just wanted to kind of put that out there because I just felt so strong about it because I'm dealing with it on an everyday basis myself. I just got rid of my Zion Mojo, and I didn't have a whole lot into it because I bought it early when the market was a lot lower. When prison boxes were $400 a box, now they're $4,000 a box. The market's different, and it's one of the best cards you can pull, so it's different now.
Yeah, so we talk about, and I want to speak to that too because I mean when I started my machine, right, and I call the PSA grading a machine because that's essentially what it is. You put stuff in, stuff eventually starts coming back, but it's like a snowball that you're rolling down the hill that you have to get started. So when I started that back in May, and I talk to Raphael about my goals all the time, they can't be mindless, right? You have to set goals, and then you have to be able to achieve them goals. So I dumped in as much money as I could, and we're talking maybe $5-10 grand into like $5 and $10 cards that I would essentially send into PSA and start this wheel going down the street. So maybe once they start coming back and I'm starting to feel the fruits of that labor, I'm probably going to make 150, 200 grand on $5 base cards, right?
Yep.
But it doesn't happen overnight. You can't just mindly spend and just buy everything that looks good. You have to really do your research on it. And once you start this process, you got to keep sending. So that's how you get to 2,000 cards at PSA at any given time, right? So I started this wheel, right? If you're starting it now, you're not going to see the fruits of that labor for 6 to 9 months because most of those $5 cards, you can't send them in on a $50 bulk sub, right? You got to send it on a $10 sub. And so then you start making money. So like I said, that's what I've done. That's the avenue that I chose to take. And there's a hustler mentality because a $5 card, you still want to try to get it for $1, right? So the lower the margins that you have, you increase your margins, and then you take that route. So that having a real business
worth $100, you turn $1 to $100 card. It's crazy.
And so knowing how to operate in margins and taking that business entrepreneurial step and that hustler mentality, knowing how to turn $1 into 100, and have $20 into it at the end of the day. That's what you need to gear yourself on if you want to start small and become big. But you can't go big right away if you operate with peanuts down in the gutter, So,
seriously, man. And right now, I think baseball is a great buy for people.
I agree.
Because everybody's going to be all cracked out on football, basketball short season, and where are we all going to go make money? Everybody's going to pivot to baseball. I think that's going to drive the market up quite a bit. And then, I'm a big hockey guy, and I think hockey's really cheap and underpriced right now. Hockey is a worldwide sport that's played in every single country. Yeah. That is something that I see as well that could be a future good investment, especially.
There you go.
Some Connor McDavid, Alexis Lafreniere, those two guys, you buy them up, I think you guys will be in a good position.
That's right.
The other thing with baseball, though, once it comes around the corner, and I'm sorry, Raphael, man, you can't talk all the time, man. Hey.
No, I wasn't. I was just trying to address the questions. That's all. We got questions. We got questions. I'm just trying to get them answered. That's all.
The other thing I was going to say about baseball, being that it was a shortened season plagued by COVID last year because nobody knew this new world that we were going to be in. If you played baseball before, so you're going to know that it takes some players a little longer to get it to stride, to hit, their pitches, whatever the case is. And so I don't think last year gave a good glimpse on people and the players to really hit their strides and start knocking stuff out the park at the
I
way
can
that they
agree with
needed
that.
to. And
There you
so
go.
You
is
think
that
that guy? That's a Wander Franco super refractor Bowman 1 of 1.
well, that's a true telling of himself, right? So they didn't have any minor leagues,
Very nice
right?
Nope.
card.
They started bringing up from Double A majority pitchers, right? There was some Triple A guys that they pushed to the league that were already going to
Yep.
get there, but all the minor league guys they took a step back because of that,
Mhm.
right? And so I think also with like a Luis Robert, so he had his up, he had
Yep.
his down, but the season was so short, he didn't get a chance to adjust and come back up. So I think with the full season, we're going to see a lot out of him. And the reason why I'm buying Jordan is because he's going to come back healthy, and you'll see what he can do. So that's a gem I gave out. I'm a
That's
Houston
so
fan, so it helps that there's a guy there that can sell and actually
Yeah.
be really marketable for them guys. But I think with a full season, we're going to have a full spring season again. We're not going to have a huge delay, and we're actually going to see a lot of these guys start putting up results, and you're going to see baseball take off again. So I think that's going to be really interesting.
I'm
I'll be
ready.
buying
Prepared.
baseball in Dallas. So Thomas Willis says, I can't afford to take a big hit on a card. Say I spend $5K and it takes it 2 to 3K. Does anybody want to answer that? Because I feel like you guys should be able to answer this one without me going too deep.
Well, you got to know what you're buying, right? If you sell a card, you're going to have to sell a card. But if you spend 5K and you're buying the right cards, that's why it's really important to do your
It's not going to
research.
go down if you buy the right card.
Yeah,
No.
that's
You
where it
buy the right
starts at.
card.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, hold
product
on.
knowledge.
But look at the Kobe Bryant PSA 10. If you bought it at 5,200, right? It went back down to 2,500, and now it's trending back up to 5. You have to be able to know what's coming up in the market. So the documentary is coming out.
Pay attention.
The Hall of Fame ceremony is coming out. So everything about Kobe is about to skyrocket. So if you haven't got it already, it's probably you're going to overpay, and your margin is going to be a little strong, but you're still going to make money.
That's
It's
true.
too late.
All right, so 30 DMV says, Shawn, what's your eBay? And then he also said, what percentage of your portfolio and online research is focused on sealed wax?
That's kind of a tough one because, like I disclosed earlier, I had a problem with ripping wax, and I still
have a
do.
problem.
I mean, right now I have 4 boxes of the 0304 Chrome. I got a case of National Treasures, 2 cases of 1819 Immaculate, and I just opened a case of National Treasures. Like, I have a problem with it.
You have the logo Zion over there too. So,
Yeah.
So you got to open the rest of it.
Yeah, I have to. You never know. But seriously, at the end of the day, though, I mean, when it comes to ripping wax and hanging on to it, I'd say maybe it's 10% of the wax I hang on to compared to portfolio. Because at the end of the day, I know I'm probably going to open this wax. Me and Brad talked about this when I was in Dallas last night. Is this high end stuff? You're not going to find people like these boxes that keep getting every day. They're raising them $1,000, $1,000. Who's going to open that? Take your margins on the boxes. Take your margins and stop. If you guys are selling wax on here and you guys are the ones that every day you update your eBay and it's $500 higher every day, stop doing that, because eventually you are going to price yourself out of a buyer, and then you're going to be sitting on all this wax. You're going to be cash poor, and then you'll be like, "Well, man, I wonder why I don't have any cash." Well, it's because no, there's not many buyers for this type of high-end wax. I'm one in a fucking 1,000 probably that's going to come in and say, I'm going to, for Christmas, my Christmas present to myself was $150,000 in wax under my tree, immaculate, flawless Prism football. And honestly, I crushed it. I crushed it though. I got two.
You did good.
I did damn good. I'm happy. I'm happy with what I got, so, I mean, at the end of the day, man, it's risky, even for me to hold wax, but I mean, I'd say 10% of my portfolio would be me holding wax. But what I am doing, I'm probably going to partner up with somebody here soon, somebody that I've done a lot of high-end cash deals with, where we're going to buy up wax. He's going to sit on it for a little bit, but we've already discussed it. We're not going to sit on it for a year and then say, hey, this $600 box we bought is $5,000. We're going to move it in increments, essentially. So we're not screwing up the industry. We're going to try to actually come in cheaper and try to kind of reset that a little bit. So a lot of you guys on here, if you guys are wax sellers, sorry. At the end of the day, I mean, you guys need to take your money when you guys should take your money. Don't hang on to this and, try to.
Good.
I don't buy wax, man. I'm a DJ at heart, man. And if there's a wax there, I'm like, I can't sell it because then if I sell it, then
I got one box.
Pull something. I can't live with myself right now, man. I'll tell you an interesting story. My wife, every time she goes to the store, she'll call me and says, "Hey, look, these are the waxes here on the shelf, right?" And for this time, it was some Pokemon boxes that I was picking up. And I'm like, buy it all, right? And here goes my card, buy it all. And then she goes, man, some lady walked up to me. She was really nice. She said that she was looking for a box for her husband. So I gave him one of the box. And I'm like, oh, shit. and I opened up all those boxes. And I'm like, look, she probably got the card I was looking for out of that box. Exactly. She just gave it away. I was like, what are you doing? Right? Yeah. I cannot have a box here because I'll open it up, whether it's $50 or it's $5,000. I don't care. I'll open it up. So I'm not a guy that's going to sit on wax. I'm just not. I buy cards to open them up. I don't buy them to sit on them.
I do that. So that's my problem and I am going to open all this stuff, but I'm trying to hold off from doing it. But then me and my fiance, we talk and I'm always like, no one else is going to buy this. Like, I'm not going to be able to sell a box of this National Treasures I bought for $25,000 or this case of National Treasures for $25,000 and be like, hey, somebody want to buy this for 27 or 28 and move it quickly because that's not going to happen, right? There's not many buyers that are going to take risks like that. So yes, I'm going to open all this shit and I will let you guys know if I get a Luca.
We want to see you on live. Go on Instagram. We want to do it live. You should open up a box now.
Don't tempt me. Do not tempt me. Don't tempt me.
You want to see it now?
I think he said he had an immaculate case or a National Treasures box. What if he put a Zion Logoman live on our podcast? What do you think that would do?
Oh my God, that'd
be nuts. We'll be posting it and tagging it everywhere. It'll be on, and you'll have to fly out to PSA and get it graded, and then you'll have to give it to Ken Golden and then put it in the auction for next month.
Dude, I would be gone.
It'll bump everything. It'll bump everything. I think the other ones are already at like 500,000 already. The
logo, the one of one,
the non-autograph. Yeah, the non-autographs are like 500,000 already. It's crazy.
That's crazy,
nuts.
Man.
Yeah, shout out to King Golden Auction.
I'll be happy if I just pull a horizontal jaw or horizontal Zion. Like, just give me something. The last one I opened, I got a Rui. I got Rui, and I got the guy from the Clippers.
Sean, I'm gonna tell you, man. Hey, man, you're a cool dude. We've actually ran through a whole hour, and it felt like 10 minutes, man.
Cool.
There you go.
But I will say, man. Hey, I didn't know you before, man. But it's a pleasure that I got a chance to meet you, man. You got some cool.
He'll be in Dallas. We're gonna hang out.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be there.
All hang out in Dallas. Like,
we'll hang out in Dallas, man.
I'm bringing my fiance up there with me, so I'll be there all weekend. I'm meeting Chris Janko from Big Easy Cards.
Yep.
Brad from Dallas Card Investors. I'm meeting the Prism God.
Hey,
I'm hanging out with you too.
That's right, man. Well, check it out. We're gonna have a good time. We really appreciate you being on the show, Sean, and giving your 2 cents to the hobby, because we try to educate, and it's really dope to bring somebody like yourself on, to kind of give a different perspective. So without that being said, do we want to do any questions? Anybody got any quick questions?
I will say, I'll throw it out there. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram. It's at Shawn Henry EHS is my personal page.
There you go.
At Henry's Hobby is where my personal collection is posted. I'll be updating that tonight. I think I got 6 or 7 more high-end cards in. I'll be updating. That is everything on that page is what I currently have.
Yeah.
If you want to buy it, you guys can make me an offer. You want to do a trade, but white sparkles are not for sale.
There you go.
Hey, and I'm gonna hit you up on the solar panels, man, because
hit me up for sure,
I said, man. It's something that we want to do for our new home. And like I said, my wife is really excited about that.
And for everybody that's listening and watching this Friday, Prism God TV is back on Friday. Prism God TV is back. Season 2 is cracking. Make sure you guys follow me, click and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Prism God TV. Every Friday going forward. I won't disappoint. I promise. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right. So with that being said, Thank you very much, Shawn. Thank you very much, Kobe Collector. Prism God TV. I'm sorry, not Prism Gods. We're out. I was gonna say Prism God TV, but we're out, baby. He said the Bucks is gonna win this weekend.
Let's go. Yeah, we are. We got